Own a little and love it a lot. TheStable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. TheStable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at TheStable.ca.
Good evening, everyone. Just making sure we're ready to go here. Hey, it is the first moments of our 2025 show from the Lexington Selected Yearling Sale. My name is Mark McKelvey, and in a little bit I'll be joined by Anthony McDonald. It would not be the start of our Lexington show without Anthony running a little bit late. He'll be here soon, but as always, we're happy to be back. I think this is now 4 consecutive years that we've come here to the Lexington Sale, and hope to bring you that behind-the-scenes coverage. We've said it year in and year out. If you've never been here, you certainly need to find a way to get down here, but once again, if you're unable to do so, we're happy to give you the sights and sounds and really show you everything that is going on. As always, Anthony and our trusty cameraman Cam, they have gone around and looked at many yearlings. In fact, I think we've got something like over 20 videos that we have put together, and we're going to bring lots of those to you over the course of the next hour. We'll have those coming your way as well. Anthony will come on the desk and we'll preview tonight's opening session and really look ahead at this year's sale. So without further ado, let's get to our first video.
Number one, that's right, number one, the first horse in the sale. A lot of our clients are here this week, and a number of them really like they are fascinated with Fascination. Number one, this is a Tactical Landing filly, May 23rd. This is a late foal. May 23rd, dual eligible New Jersey and Kentucky filly by Tactical Landing out of the Cantab Hall mare Pin Chronos IT. This is the mother of Sound Judgment, Helava AM. The second dam is the dam of Light Chronos. This is a very strong pedigree, and this is a filly, which makes it even more difficult to acquire her. I am not sold on the idea that we can acquire this filly just because she is number one in the sale, but we will most definitely be here early just in case people aren't. Number one, Fascination selling number one, the first horse to go through the sales ring tonight at the Lexington Select here in Lexington, Kentucky.
Unheard. Said nothing bad.
I have to ask Alan what he said then. 2 of our guys said there's something wrong with their pedigree. Alan Swain, him and Steve, he said, well, here, I'll just show you the message. I'll show you the message right now. Number 3, Debonair. This is another bulldog. They got a lot of these bulldogs early in the sale. I don't know how it's going to be received. You know, we talk about the storylines of the sales, and you guys hear me say that, and you may not know what it means, but for me, it's when I look at the sale, are there places that might benefit us as buyers? And having a bunch of bulldog handovers on day one, that might be something too. There may not be a lot of people out there. The way that the cattle washes erupted in Ontario this year, that could go 2 ways. Are people going to say, hey, it's going to be tough to buy a real quality pedigree with a cattle wash, or should I just wait for a bulldog Hanover? Or maybe people will just wait for the cattle washes in Ontario also, or a Harrisburg for that matter. I have no idea. But today is day one in Lexington, and this is number 3, and that's another thing. How does a number 3 bulldog Hanover, how is that received in Kentucky? I don't know. You look at the pedigree, the mother's made almost $500,000 by Captain Treacherous, Baby, You're the Best. The Tall Dark Stranger now, that's right, you heard me say it, Tall Dark Stranger, sister or brother Lafitte, has not done as well. Now, as I say that, I look at the upgrade of the update, and it's 150-3 lifetime win, 3 wins, $26,000 made. The second dam is Bushwhacker, Flipper J, and then the third dam is Put on a Show. You see these types of pedigrees all throughout the sales also. This is a good-looking Bulldog Hanover Colt. April 15th, Ontario and Kentucky eligible. And honestly, I don't know what to think about that. The number 3 in the sale is the most intriguing thing. How is this horse going to be received? And if it isn't received well, I think it would be in our best interest to make sure we're there, to make sure we can get our hand up. Number 3, Debonair, selling tonight early, very early. 3rd horse in the ring, Day 1 Lexington Select Sale 2025. Yeah, ready? Number 16, Dog Dare You. Now, I'll be honest, when I saw this horse's video, I didn't think I loved the horse. Thought it was a little small. March 15th, I expected to be a little bit bigger colt. But when I got here, the horse just looks really nice, well put together. You know, top to bottom, a really, really nice looking colt. You have a brother here to American Mercury who took a mark of 48 and 1 on a 5/8 and made $1 million and took Hanover in the second name. You see that took Hanover line on almost every sale you go to in North America. And as I said, I wasn't quite enamored when I first saw the video and I first opened the catalog and saw number 16. But quite frankly, this is a really, really good looking horse. I like this horse. Number 16, Dog Dare You, is a horse that I'm a little torn. Is this horse a Day 1 pedigree, Day 1 horse? I'm not sure. I can tell you who's going to answer that for us is the people bidding on the horses tonight in Kentucky. So this is early in Day 1. Number 16, Dog Dare You, selling tonight in Lexington. That horse is going to be lower than they think too. That might be one of the small bulldogs we've seen. But honestly, truthfully speaking, a little toed out. That's where that splint comes from. But pretty correct otherwise. And average speaking, a really good looking horse. Been out all day, still has his ears up. That's important too. People dismiss that. You start pulling these poor bastards out all day. Well, Day 1 is tough to gauge. They're all supposed to bring a lot. I guess if you've been here enough times, you know that every single one of them could bring a lot of money, and this is definitely one that is on that list. This is the half-brother to Looks Like Money. This is He's Money. He is a Walner colt. My God, good-looking horse. If it had any digs, though, it'd be just his big, giant pie plate feet up front. He is a New Jersey, Kentucky eligible colt, February the 11th. This is the 3rd foal, who has had 3 winners from this mare. Looks Like Money being the biggest money winner and fastest horse from this dam. And he is a very, very nice horse. Indigo Thursday for us at the Meadows. This is Looks Like Money's half-brother by Walner. And of course, it's not just Looks Like Money. I mean, look at the second dam is Snow White. That's all money. These are all, this is an incredibly deep pedigree and a really, really nice looking colt. Number 17 on Day 1. Number 17. Looks Like Money's brother. His name is He's Money. So we've had to improvise here. The microphone is missing for our video, so I'm using Cam's phone. Umbria, number 19. This is a colt, dual eligible, New Jersey, Kentucky. What a gorgeous horse. Now, when I looked at this pedigree for the first time, I said, oh, hold on. We had a horse out of this family, and I did not like him that much. Antilles Hanover, but he was international money, I think. He stood off, he interfered, and he did what he could. He ended up being one of those horses that tried really hard, just wasn't that good. He looked nothing like this horse. Number 19 is early in the Kentucky sale. This is a big, straight, gorgeous horse. Now, the horse I referred to was a brother to Anoka Hanover. Anoka Hanover herself made $792,000, taking a 2-year-old mark of 52 and 3. She was the star of the pedigree and still is. And this is one gorgeous looking colt. He is a February 7th colt. He is put together exactly how you want to see him. Now, I guess my only dig, which is unfair, is a lot of the tactical landings that we really liked and really had luck with were a little crazy. They were a little bossy. They were a little bully. They were hot. This guy's quiet as a kitten. So we'll see. Truthfully speaking, we likely aren't going to be able to afford number 19, Umbria. But every time I say that, there's a horse in the sale, 1 or 2 or 3, that just kind of slip a bit. And it wouldn't take much of a slip for us to grab this horse, but I just don't see him slipping on day number 1. Big, beautiful blaze, nice gait, good video, good presence. Number 19, Umbria, is a horse that I like very much, but I suspect a number of other people will also. Fuck's wrong with me? Rubios. Okay. Number 24, Rubios. I think that's how you say his name. Rubios is a tactical landing. I love this horse because I know the siblings, right? Perrin, Pappardelle, Splendid. These are horses I raced against every one of them. Father Patrick, Splendid. Chris Lems drove him last year against Arrowhead Hanover. And quite frankly, when he didn't make a break or had him in a good spot, he beat me pretty handily a couple of times with him. Pappardelle and Perrin, these horses were high-end Ohio horses. Now, more importantly, my MVP, Wishing Stone, and Father Patrick. This is a tactical landing, and I think, without being disrespectful to any of the other sires, a pedigree upgrade. Number 24, Rubios, is put together well. Now, let's talk about faults. I'm looking right here at him. He's a little toed out, both front feet. But again, when I look at his video, and this is the main thing to look at videos about, I want to see that head-on view. When you look at this horse's head-on view, he certainly doesn't look to me like he is going to interfere in any way, shape, or form. He's put together pretty good. He's got a great video. He's got a great head. He moves nice. I really like this horse. Number 24 is a horse I'm going to be watching very, very closely all throughout the sale. Number 24, the March 27th dual eligible colt, Rubios. Hold it just a hair. Yeah. But that's good. Number 27, early in day 1, is Tony Pro. Now, I looked at the catalog and you're like, wow, you shouldn't be able to buy this horse. It's a brother to Instagram model. Second dam is the dam of King of the North. These are the horses you're not supposed to be able to buy. But I said, hey, he's only New York. Who knows what he looks like? Maybe he's small, or maybe he's the biggest Chapter 7 I've ever seen in my life. So number 27, we'll make the video, and we have a lot of interest in this horse, but I suspect there'll be a fair amount of financial fireworks going off with respect to number 27, Tony Pro, tonight in Lexington. Really, really, really good looking colt. Put together well, his video was nice. His only downfall is that we likely can't afford him. But you never know. You are at a sale and you have to be ready to purchase a horse when it's possible. Number 27, Tony Pro, you can be sure we will be watching very, very closely. But as I said, unfortunately, I believe many other people will also. Number 27, Tony Pro, selling on day 1, early on day 1 tonight. I'll tell you what, I love lots of storylines that go on in the sale. We talk about first crop sires, we talk about placement in the sales, and this horse here, another storyline is the siblings, right? This is a Sweet Lou colt, May 16th colt, so a decent sized colt in his own right. Now last year, Concord sold the Better's Delight filly privately not privately, but online. She was really, really small. I remember them talking about her, and I actually know the people that bought her. She was really small, and they said, well, if she races, great. If we got to wait till she's 3, that's fine. But as a broodmare, she's worth probably decent money. And they're right. This is Alexis Powers second foal. Alexis Power timed in 48, a market 50 on a half-mile track. A very, very good horse. In fact, Michelle's Power, the second dam, Max Jackpot, Max Marvel, the entire family, top to bottom, is full of black print and money. So when you're looking at this horse, I know that this is the second foal from the mare. The first foal was really small, and they gave her lots and lots of time to mature. This is the second one. Number 29 in the sale, though. I don't know if this is a big, giant number 29 day one Lexington type horse. So I'm wondering, is there a chance that maybe this horse is passed over by a lot of the day one aggressive buyers? So a lot of things going on with number 29 Magic Mac, and I'm wondering if maybe this is an opportunity for us when it comes to definitely a day one pedigree and a day one pacer. Beautiful white blaze in his head. You see that a lot with the Sweet Lose. This is a gorgeous horse by a great sire out of a great mare, and a horse that we definitely should be looking at. If we have a way in, we should happily take it. Number 29 Magic Mac, selling day one on Lexington. Number 30 here at Crawford.
All right, everyone, we are back here on the desk, and time to welcome in Anthony McDonald. And Anthony, fashionably late. Nothing wrong with that.
I told Amy that we left the hotel. I got done looking at horses late. I made it back over, and I told Cam, do you think I have enough time? Cam says you have lots of time. I made it all the way to the hotel. I had a shower. I got cleaned up and dressed up. And then lo and behold, I get on the highway, and the Waze says 5:04. So, I mean, he really needs to work. As Amy says, you got to work on your time management.
Great camera guy.
Great camera guy with the time, though. Yeah. Not so good.
Navigator, we'll work on those skills.
Yeah.
First of all, before we start, I think people are looking at this and wondering, and I think we actually got to move these flowers for a second. Amy did a nice job with the decor, but I know you're really proud of this. Explain what this is.
So, you ever just lay in bed at night and you can't get to sleep and you're scrolling through Facebook looking at a bunch of stupid crap you shouldn't be looking at? Well, I saw this site that had these it looked to me like a figurine. And I said, that'd be cool. And I knew I had the picture of Mark and I together. That is a caricature, obviously, of Mark and I.
That's a real photo.
Yes, this was a photo that was taken in front of the Meadowlands paddock. Mark did not have yellow boots on that night. And oddly enough, James did not have knee patches. But it was taken in front of the paddock, and it's actually a nice picture.
Yeah.
So I thought, that'd be cool if I had them, and, if it looked really good, I'd order a few of them and have them for Christmas, which I may still do. But I did not know that this was coming in the mail. I did not envision this being what was coming in the mail.
Yeah, I think if you're looking right now, it is flat when you turn it.
Yeah, it's completely flat.
But pretty cool.
Yeah,
so
it's still pretty cool. I put it on my table. Now, see, James has a fractured leg, which, if you know James, he has fractured his leg. So it came, although it likely was broken in transporting it. Oddly enough, James did fracture that leg.
Well, all right. So it's very realistic, is what you're saying.
It is very. Mark did come in one piece, though, which makes it very unrealistic. But yes, for the most part, pretty realistic.
And that photo, I think, was last year at the Breeders' Crown Eliminations, right?
It was.
First time 3 brothers in one race.
And only one of them made the final, and it wasn't them two.
Okay. Speaking of success on the racetrack, how about last Friday? James was in the bike, though, for a big win for the stable.
Yeah, and one of those things where he was just so busy all summer, and just things – listen, if you're a world-class driver, you're a world-class driver. Just things didn't work out with respect to Jailbird Jog and Tim, and I certainly wouldn't hesitate to use the guy again. He's the bionic man.
Yep. Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer. Yep. But, my brother is James, and he had an opportunity where his schedule was, for the most part, clear for the next 4 races for the filly, and I just said, hey, do you want to drive this filly? I don't think he knows how optimistic I am, and I said, she's a really nice filly. I think you're going to really like her. I've never really seen her tired. Fairly, honestly tired. Last week she was tired, but she was 3 wide at the half. And he drove her, and I just caught his quote quickly. He said she was amazing, and she is an amazing filly. We're very blessed to have her, and I was talking to our clients. We're out looking at horses, and this is the week and the day of dreams, right? You're dreaming about the horses that might be, and we were talking about the Breeders' Crown, and we have obviously Perfect Thought, who's also a tremendously talented filly in her own right on the pacing side, and Jailbird Jog. And I said, here I am. I feel like we should have more horses that are able to go to the Breeders' Crown when you have so many talented trainers that don't get an opportunity to race any horses in the Breeders' Crown. And This sport will humble you. It makes you feel greedy sometimes.
Sure.
It will humble you sometimes, but very, very blessed that we're able to be here to look at clients, horses for clients, and certainly of last year, had the sales last year come to fruition where we get to race two of the horses that we bought right here last year in the Breeders' Crown in 2 weeks. So it's very fortunate in that regard. And yes, James did an amazing job driving the filly. It looked pretty paint by numbers, right?
Sure.
Float from the gate, float to the front, command the lead, and drive off. But it's never that easy. And, good drivers always make it look easy, and James is certainly a tremendous driver.
We'll talk about the horses that are going to be going through the sales ring later on tonight and all week long. We'll get to that in a second. You mentioned Perfect Thought, though. What's the latest with her as we look ahead?
Obviously I was like you. I didn't make it over to Canada. I just had too much going on with the sale coming and trying to get our 2-year-olds either ready for Ohio finals, Pennsylvania finals, or turned out or whatnot. And I didn't make it over to Canada, and I thought the same thing when everybody else did. When she made that break, I thought she injured herself, and my heart skipped a beat. I was like, oh, my God, And I texted Megan. I said, hey, is the filly okay? She said, yeah. Some people said she jumped something. She did this. Scotty really wasn't sure what she did. She got startled when Jody moved back to the front like thousands of other gamblers. They were all startled when Jody moved back to the front. But it was the right move. He ended up second, and maybe we would have beat him for second, but he wouldn't have been any worse than third. That filly raced out of her mind also, that Dea filly.
She did,
tremendous.
Yeah, no one was touching the winner, obviously.
No, the winner was the winner.
Yeah.
There was no two ways about that. But the way that filly raced it, the guts she's shown all year long, Scotty to win the final, that horse had her beat on the inside, if you recall. I don't know if you remember watching the New Jersey Classic final. That horse had her beat on the inside fair and square, and she fought her off right to the wire. And that's what good horses do. And she's just a very, very good horse. We've been very, very lucky with her all year, and Scott and Megan have done a great job with her also. Every time I say that, I feel bad. There's a voice in my head that says, well, don't forget to remind everybody all the work that was put in at the burn, whether it's Amy or Jason or any of the Jasons or any of our caretakers on both sides of the border. Megan and Scott have done a great job, but there was a lot of work that went in to get it to that point also. And just very lucky that we have such a dedicated staff on both sides of the border to do the work. And, we've some horses. Well, that's Andy. Apparently we're at the Hotel California. So
we'll probably have to do something about that in a little bit.
This is a lovely place. Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? They're already telling me behind the camera that we're going to show some videos.
We'll cut to a video and we'll get away from $5. You know who this is?
The Eagles.
Well done.
Yeah, all right.
Well done.
I thought it was a trick question. I'm like, no, everyone knows that, don't they?
It looked like I stumped you for a second.
No, I thought you were trying to
cut
stump
away
me.
from the Eagles.
All right. Curtis is saying we got to go. When we come back, though, we're going to talk about some of the storylines that we'll be watching for tonight.
Storm. This is a... Jeez, I think I'm going blind. This is a chapter. This is a Chapter 7 colt, February 4th. Now, you might look at this horse and say, it's kind of small. Not really. Not for a Chapter 7. He's the only horse, him and Better's Delight forever have got away with putting together small horses, but they just win races. So actually what I would say is on the larger side of a Chapter 7. This is out of a Cantab Hall mare, made $215,000. Very nice mare in Fade Into You. This is a good family. Every sale I see this family. I don't know that we've ever got a horse out of this family, but I can assure you we've bid on quite a few of them, and we likely will be bidding on number 30, Nalani Storm. Dual eligible, New York and Kentucky. Really, really well put together colt. I like everything about him. In fact, there's about 8 people here with us today, and all 8 of us really like the number of horses out of this consignment, and this is one of them. Number 30, Nalani Storm, selling early on day 1 here in Lexington. Number 42, this is the weirdest name, Zitch Dog SGT, so Sergeant Stables. I dare say whoever buys this horse, he'll be coming with a name change. I don't know, maybe not. But this is a good-looking colt. May 10th, he is a big boy for May 10th. Big, athletic colt. He isn't super coarse, but he's very tall, very long. and he looks very, very good. This is the brother to Always Be Mickey by Bulldog Hanover. He's also a brother to Ammo. Two very, very good horses in the top dam. Second dam's a dam of Nicholas Beach, and the third dam's a dam of Atokia. There's another horse with this breeding in here that we looked at earlier today also. But this was one of my favorite horses, one of my favorite videos anyway, pre-sale, and he's lived up to all the hype as we come in here and look at him at Alliance Bloodstock. Man, what a good looking horse. Number 42, day one. There'll be a lot of eyeballs on this guy. Zitch Dog Sergeant. What a terrible name. Anyway, selling here on day number one in Kentucky. No, I haven't. I had a number of people message me because they know that we are always looking for first crop sires, and Akery D, Alarage 1, these are two of the New Jersey sires that have just come out. They're both Svanstead studs, both first crop horses, and I just didn't know, are they going to be affordable? And in some cases, well, in one case, Akery D is one of my favorite horses in the sale. This right here is number 50, it's an Alarage 1. Now, when I looked at the video, I saw his head on, I said, he might touch a knee. He's pretty correct, but if you catch him at the wrong time, he does toe out a hair, just a little bit. But again, you're racing at the Meadowlands. And if you want to race Grand Circuit, you're racing at the Meadowlands and Kentucky and Mohawk. So I'm not overly concerned about that little toed out or how close he might have come to one knee in his video. The horse looks really, really good. Now let's talk about the problems. The biggest problem is he's at a Venerable, who's a multiple world champion. Just an incredible filly, made over $1 million, took a mark of 52 as a 2-year-old, timed him 150, and a really, really good horse. And she is out of Jolene, another heavyweight in the standardbred community. So this is probably one of the deepest pedigrees with one of the newest sires. Now, is there going to be a discount for Alarage 1? Is there going to be a discount? Because I'm not the only one that saw the video. Yeah, there's going to be a few, but man, I would have to think there's going to have to be a lot of discounts for us to find a way to bring Valorous, number 50, home with us. Man, he is a gorgeous, gorgeous horse, and a horse that I would love to have. I just don't know. Again, this is one of the powerhouses out of Cameo Hills. I just don't know if it's going to be possible, but we're going to be watching. Really, really like this horse. I would love to buy him. Certainly will likely bid on him if I get a chance to get my hand up. And we'll see what happens with number 50 on day one here, Valorous, selling out of Cameo Hills. Day one, Lexington. What a tricky place to buy horses in. We're going to look at a lot of horses, and there's going to be some of these horses I look at that are just going to go for way too much money. That's Lexington. There's not much you can do about that. But if you're not ready to buy them, you're going to watch a lot of them go past you. Number 54 is one of those highly unlikely type situations. This is Creative Style. This is a Captain Treacherous out of a Art Speak mare. Now that mare has already thrown a Captain Treacherous, so this would be a full brother to a horse named Gifted One. Mark of 51-1, timed in 50-3, made a $225,000. The second dam is where all the sparks are. The second dam is the dam of Sylvia Hanover and Western fame, Western exposure. That's a very good family. So this is the immediate family of Sylvia Hanover. The first dam has already thrown a full sister or brother to this particular colt here right now that has already won in 51 and made $225,000. That one's name is Gifted One. So pretty hard to overlook this family and really hard to overlook this horse. He is a gorgeous animal. Day one, number 54. His name is Creative Style. He is a Pennsylvania and Kentucky eligible, dual eligible, May 13th full.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. They do those. That's yeah, that's where Christine went to the wedding in Philly. They went to a blow bar. Yeah. And I'm like, it was like a whole wedding entourage there.
There's a bunch of seedy-looking guys outside. I don't think.
I was thinking.
I don't think they were getting there. Yeah, that's what I think. Well, continuing on with our trend of horses we can't afford, we're going to do number 59, Temple of Trot. This is the full sister to King of the North, the half sister to a horse that we had high hopes on, and actually we sold her for a lot of money as a broodmare, but never really got to see the true potential of Punch the Clock. There's a filly that her first lifetime start in the pouring rain, trotted in 58-27 on the end of it, finishing second and raced great, and that was it. She got hurt in that race, and we protected her, pointing her towards being a broodmare, and ended up selling her as a broodmare. This is the half sister to Punch the Clock. This is the full sister to King of the North. And this is a horse we absolutely should not be able to afford. Now I can tell you, as she's standing right there, maybe a hair toed in, and Cam can show you there her feet, the way she's pointed in a little bit. But given her, it's almost like she's perfectly proportioned. Her shoulders are nice. She's got a big high ass end on her, a nice big barrel on her. She is going to be a top and middle-sized trotting filly, but she looks beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I don't foresee a way. There's at least 2 or 3 horses coming out of Cameo Hills that I just don't think we can afford, and this filly right here is somewhere near the top of the list. Number 59, Temple of Trot. Love her, I'm sure you do too, but I find it hard to believe that she'll be coming home with us after day 1 in Lexington. Right, I'm looking at horses I really, really like and I really want. I know that a lot of people watch these videos, and I'm torn. Do what I say? What will the horses we like? Does that move the needle in the sale? I'd assume no. But at the same time, I'm always worried, geez, if I really, really like a horse, am I going to induce somebody to bid on the horse? I don't think it's going to matter. Number 63. This was a horse I liked. First crop, right in our wheelhouse. First crop sire, an Akiri D. Now, the family is a lot of Ohio blood, right? Your barn girl, who I guess isn't Ohio, but a lot of her offspring had raced and were bred in Ohio. When actually we bought a filly in the Ohio sale out of this same line, right? Sweet and Steady, I believe her name was. Now, if you look down, Second Dam is the mother of What a Mission, right? A horse that we had. So you guys know this blood. So I'm thinking, when I see the video, just an absolute gorgeous horse. Number 63, Oliver Blue. Gorgeous video. Really, really good looking colt. He looks every bit as good in real life as he does on the video. So I'm going to bring you 63, a horse that I really, really liked on day 1, because I'm sure there's not going to be any shortage of bidders. The one thing that I've noticed about Lexington is that if it's a really nice video and a decent pedigree, it's going to bring a lot more money than even I thought it would. So number 63 is a horse that I loved on day 1, Oliver Blue. Great video, great looking horse, well put together. His pedigree's a little more Ohio than Kentucky, but this is certainly what you want a trotter to look like. Number 63, Oliver Blue, selling on day number 1 here out of Crawford Farms. Number 65 on day 1. Now, it's impossible to figure out which ones you may be able to afford, if you can afford any on day 1. And we have some money to buy some horses here in Kentucky. Number 65 is very interesting. Now, the Captain Corys are going to be highly sought after, and we've seen a lot of them. They look good, but they weren't like standouts. This guy is a really good looking one. I just said to Amy, he doesn't look the same as the other ones. The other ones looked a little coarser, a little longer and stumpier. This guy looks a little more short barreled, a little more compact, but well put together. This is number 65, and it's the second foal from Felicity Shagwell. She took a mark of 51-1, trotted 150, made $500,000. But the most interesting thing is what you don't find is a whole bunch of horses that we know anything about on this first dam. So this page, although I'm sure if you dive deeper and knew all the stories behind all the horses on this page, you'd be interested. At first glance, it's just a bunch of names on a piece of paper, or in this case on a screen. This, to me, without knowing those stories, does not present as a strong day one pedigree. And if it doesn't present as a day one pedigree, well, you know what can happen then. People just dismiss the horse. This is a Captain Corey, day one Captain Corey colt, and this is a May 27th foal also. Selling from Kentucky, and a horse that actually, the more I look at him, the more I talk about him, the more I like him. Number 65, Optimus Prime, selling here on day number 1 in Kentucky. Really? Okay, all right. Well, good news. 42 sells before 68. Ready? Number 68, Wings of Blue. When I looked at the horse's videos and I looked at the pedigree, this horse really, really interested me. But what interested me more is how the horse looks. This is a beautiful March 8th dual eligible Pennsylvania and Kentucky colt. Now, he's an Always Be Mickey. You're not going to see the same adoration towards Always Be Mickey that you see from some of the other sires here down here. Certainly not Captain Treacherous. So, are you going to be able to find any value on day one? If you can, if you will, on a pedigree like this, it might be this horse right here, Wings of Blue. When I had made it down here, my pacer list, this horse was definitely in the top 5, and I think he stayed solidly in there. I really like the colt. I love everything about him. I don't really have any issues with Always Be Mickey. He's shown a lot of really nice horses. And quite frankly, 68, Wings of Blue, be very happy to pick this guy up. Number 68, Wings of Blue, selling tonight, day 1 in Lexington.
I think 42 is more fun too.
He does. He looks. The only thing I don't like about him, I think he's a June foal or May foal, isn't he?
May 10th.
May 10th.
May 10th, yeah.
mean,
He's
what
May 10th,
family?
and he's taller. He's a little lankier. This guy just seems a little more muscular
He does.
than him. But 42 was my top pick overall. Always was. I just
Yeah.
looked at him today. I'm like, geez, I know he's a May foal. But
I mean, he's going to bring a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, always be their best.
as expected, you are going to see a lot of Chapter 7s and a lot of Walners on day 1. That's just the way it is. And this is one of the Chapter 7s. And this is one of the Chapter 7s that's actually going to be extremely hard to acquire. Now, I was just told after we were looking that this horse had an OCD removed from 3 of its 4 ankles. You wouldn't know. Obviously, they did a great job. And I'm not very worried about that. But and I don't think that's going to be the problem. That won't be a sticking point of us not getting this filly. It'll be because this is the half-sister to Mountcastle. Update on Mountcastle. 222,000 made and a mark of 151, second in the $400,000 championship final in Kentucky 2 weeks ago. This is all French blood, except for Mountcastle, and I think there's going to be a lot of people drooling over this filly. This is one of those horses where, listen, we're not even going to get her hand up. But absolutely worth noting and worth looking at. A little reference for you as you start to see what is going to take shape on day number 1. This is a filly that's going to have a lot of eyeballs on her and probably have a high number associated to her name when all is said and done. Number 72, Sweetie, sells tonight on day 1. How many more we got?
85 and 96.
Okay. What's up, Chris? January 21st. Can't have ready. This is number 77 on day number 1 at a preferred equine, Mountain Mama. She is a January 21st Muscle Hill filly. This is the first foal from a Cantab Hall sister to Locatelli. We know this family. Really good family. Done us a little bit of good. Locatelli's a pretty good horse for us. I guess I was thinking that this filly would be a little bigger as a January foal. I thought maybe April when I walked up or March, but that's not a bad thing. Good looking filly. She is New Jersey only, also 1 jurisdiction, which is always, I guess, truthfully speaking, have to be a little bit of a discount, doesn't it? So you get a good looking filly with a strong pedigree, a Muscle Hill filly nonetheless, January 21st, and she is selling here on day number 1. I like this filly. She's put together really, really well. Can you walk her down for me, sir, please? She's a good looking filly. Nice. I like her, eh?
Is that the mountain mama?
Yeah, she's pretty. Oh. Number 83, Suzuki. We got a lot of horses on day one we like, and I don't think there's any reason not to show you a lot of horses on day one. We don't know which ones we're going to buy, if we're going to buy any at all. The one I'm going to show you next, we can't buy. But nevertheless, doesn't mean you can't see it. Number 82, Suzuki. This is the 83. What did I say, 82? Oh, my bad. Number 83, Suzuki, out of Illusionista. Illusionista was a very good mare, made $270,000, 3-year-old trotter of the year in 2018. She is a sister to the mother of Prestidigitator. This is a great family, top to bottom. And this is a very, very good looking filly, a Chapter 7 filly who is New York and New Jersey eligible. New York and New Jersey development eligible, so New York eligible. But not Kentucky, only New York. Well, well, well. It does play a role. It is something that people look at. So number 83, Suzuki, who I think is an exceptionally good-looking filly, is only single jurisdiction eligible. So there might be a way in on day one. Other than that, this is a really, really good-looking filly. She's a well above average size Chapter 7, much bigger than your average Chapter 7. Moves nice, nice video, stands good, and is single jurisdiction only.
Is it too big?
Well, I don't know if you can categorize this Chapter 7 as too big. It's definitely the biggest one here, I would think, or one of them.
We come back here just outside the sales pavilion at Fasig Tipton. Mark McKelvey, Anthony McDonald. Anthony, it's time to turn our focus to tonight. Obviously, those videos, those inspection videos that we've been watching throughout the course of the last 43 minutes give a little bit of a preview, but let's just talk in general some of the storylines for this evening. And one that pops out to me right away is the amount of Walners we will see in tonight's session. I think there's something, where are we, in the 80 range for in the whole sale, and there's 40 tonight?
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of Walners.
Yeah.
We like to talk about the storylines too, and I can't imagine that doesn't play a role. I mean, what do you do with such an abundance of sought-after, trotting siblings, or trotting, progeny? So I don't know... if you're looking for one Walner and it goes for a lot of money, do you just save your money and go to another one? I mean, honestly, quite frankly, there were some Walners I liked, but we were kind of sheepish on them because we just figured if everybody's looking over there, maybe there's something worth looking at over here. And that's not to say that that's the case also, but we've seen a lot of nice yearlings here for the first and second day that we went through, quite a lot. We probably looked at 200 or 300 horses over the last 48 hours, and a lot of nice Walners. Take nothing away from them.
Yep.
But our focus has been on what if everybody wants a Walner? Is there anything worth looking at? And the answer is obviously yes here at Lexington. What is that, in what form, and what's the price?
Another storyline to watch tonight is going to be some of the first crop sires. A bit of European flavor in terms of that when you're talking about Acre ED and Al Raja 1.
Yeah.
Let's talk about them in a second, but I want to move over to a pacer. It's not his first crop, but it kind of feels like that when we're talking about Bulldog Hanover. Obviously, last year was his debut, but it was a small crop, kind of a test group as he was still racing at the time.
Yeah.
Now, this is the group from the world champion Bulldog Hanover,
Yeah.
not just the good 3-year-old pacer Bulldog
got the
Hanover.
mares,
Yes,
right?
and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, the mare quality has certainly taken a big leap here.
So we talked about that. You have Cattle Wash, who kind of decimated everybody in Ontario this year. Is Bulldog going to force his way into the market? Obviously he will.
Yeah.
But at what cost? What share of the market will be his? And there's a lot of day one Bulldog Hanovers.
Tons.
Is there an appetite for an Ontario bred, as you said, virtually first crop sire, selling on day one? We looked at almost every Bulldog Hanover because we wanted to see also if people kind of take a wait and see mentality when it comes to Bulldog Hanover. Is there an opportunity for us to reach up and grab one of them? So absolutely, that's one of the things we were looking at also. They look so good though. I think it's going to be really, really hard for people to bypass how good they look and the pedigrees that are attached to them. it's going to be really hard for people to walk past them, I think.
I think just looking here, a quick check would say there's 6 of them selling here tonight, so that'll definitely be what you'd have to think will be a hot commodity, those Bulldog Hanovers. What else is catching your eye? Because it's well known in horse racing circles how strong the sales have been on the thoroughbred side, both at Saratoga, recently at Keeneland, and there's a lot of chatter that's going to now carry over to our standardbred yearling sales, this being the first major sale, and then, of course, there's Harrisburg later on. Is that kind of the expectation? This is going to be a very strong sale?
You never know. I mean, we sat here just after COVID, right, and said, the sale's probably going to be weak, and it was strong, right? You never know with Lexington. I would be shocked if it wasn't strong.
Yeah.
You know, what would it take for Lexington to be a weak sale?
Well, the last 2 years, though, are the best 2 years they've ever had. So 2 years ago was a record. Last year they didn't miss by much, and I think the median might have even been up. So, it's expected that it's going to be strong.
It's a tough place. If you think that you're gonna pull a change out of your couch cushions and come down and buy a horse in Lexington, you better have a big couch. It's a tough place to buy horses, and what Amy and I focus primarily on is everybody, right? It's not just the Walners. It's not just looking for Acre Ds or All RH1s or Bulldog Hanovers. It's looking at every horse, finding strengths and faults in all of them, putting a price beside those horses, and just waiting. There will be cracks along the way. There will be crevices in the sale, and that's kind of where we try to find our horses for next year.
Well, we talked about those horses, those first crop stallions, Al Raja 1, Acre D. First impressions, looking at some of their progeny?
Very nice. If I'm going to be completely frank, the Acre Ds look great. The Al Raj ones look very strong. Some of them maybe not perfectly correct up front, which isn't the end of the world. Quite frankly, there's some of the places we shop in also. I just did a video on the way over here talking to our clients and said, there's two things. I'll have clients that message me and say, I'm interested in these 9 hips. Tell me which one looks perfect. Well, it may look perfect, but you're going to pay a lot for a perfect-looking day one Lexington sired horse. You just are.
Yeah.
And, what we look at is, well, maybe that Al Raj one toes out a tiny bit. Go back and look at the video. Is that horse going to be affected by that? Is there going to be soundness issues because of that conformation? There's no real way to know. We rolled in here last year, and we had the same mentality every year. And we bought Jailbird Jog, and she had 2 gigantic splints up front, and also was not perfect in any way. And it's not that we knew, hey, you know what, I just think that this filly's going to be so good that these splints aren't going to bother her. No, we put a price beside Jailbird Jog. We bought the filly, and we were lucky that she turned out to be the horse she is. We bought horses just like her that did not turn out to be the horses we wanted them to be, but that's horse racing, right?
It certainly is. One final question for you here, because we're going to go back to some of those videos in a moment, but you do plenty of traveling. You race all over. You got horses all over. We go on and on, I think, every year about the dual eligibility with the Kentucky program now and how strong it is, but now it's just kind of the norm. Is that still as attractive, you think? And because the only reason I ask that is when you look at the group of horses that won those recent championship races, I mean, it's tough sledding. So
tough top to
now
bottom.
you're saying, well, I'm buying a horse that's dual eligible, and well, I can go to Kentucky if I want. But realistically, you got to have a good horse to come here.
You got to treat every stake race in Kentucky like it's a Grand Circuit race because they just go, right? You might have a horse say, he's not quite good enough for the 400 level. Maybe I'll drop him down.
Well, there's killers in there.
You got to keep dropping because they're killers everywhere. There's always those sharp horse people that are like, you know what, I'm going to let the 400 crew beat themselves up. I'm going to race my horse in the lower level, try and make it easier for them throughout the summer so that later on in the fall they can get much more money. And that happens all the time too. So it's really hard to classify your young horse in Kentucky. But when you walk through the consignments, and this is something that I pick up on all our videos, I'm not so worried about coming down to Kentucky. And listen, I love coming to Kentucky. It's a beautiful place. You love horses, you love Kentucky. But you have to know how tough it is. So we'll look at a horse that might only be New York, a Chapter 7 with only New York, right? Or only Pennsylvania, only New Jersey. And people, and we might discount that. Yeah, Hanover, exactly, right? But we might discount that and say, well, we know that a lot of the people down here are after dual eligibility. Is there a discount attributed to that? Does that discount apply to this particular animal? What might that be? And do we adjust our price accordingly? So absolutely it does. There's so much that goes into buying horses, whether it is conformation or it is staking. You'll have people that'll say, well, that horse was born May 29th. I don't want to buy that horse. I don't pay attention to that. I just look at the horse I'm looking at. what strengths it has, what weaknesses it has. Can we use any of that? Is there a vulnerability in the market because of what we just talked about? And if so, what is the new price that the stable is willing to pay for that particular horse? And there's lots of times where you feel embarrassed. You look at what the horse went for, you're like, oh, geez, I really missed that. But that's still your price.
Yep.
And you may end up with buying a horse a lot less than that price, and then you'll have people come up to you and say, how come this horse was only this much? Welcome to the sales. That's what happens at the sales. If you're ready to buy every horse, and you're prepared to buy every horse, theoretically, then you will find bargains if you just wait. But it's tough, right? It's a grind. It's tough.
Big time. All right. Well, I think we've still got a few more video packages to go to.
The Eagles are coming back on too.
Yeah, we got the music.
Set.
We got the music
set.
figured out. It was just a one-time appearance. Hopefully, we will see if there's any more curveballs thrown our way. Well, let's go to some more videos, Curtis. But we do want to come back one more time with Anthony before we wrap things up, because as we do each and every year, I think on the first night we'd like to take a stab at who we think is going to be the sale topper.
All right.
For those that are watching, let us know who you think. Drop that in the comments, and we will share ours in just a little bit.
Number 84, day one. This is a day one Bulldog Hanover, and this is not what I would call a gigantic day one Bulldog Hanover. It's in fact a smaller filly, but her pedigree is very good. We'll start with the second dam. The second dam is Worldly Treasure. This is the dam of Captain Treacherous. And the top dam is the dam of Michaela. Now those two horses combined make just under $4 million. Michaela with 651 and Captain Treacherous obviously with 3.1. A very, very good family. She stands very, very nicely. She's an April 16th foal. She's not big. She's not overly flashy. She just looks really, really nice. So I'm a little curious. How are the Bulldogs going to be received? How do they think of this filly? Because you can say, oh, her pedigree's great, and there's residual broodmare value. That's great. That's down the road. You still got to race the horse. So how is this horse going to be received on day one? Monte Carlo, number 84. An interesting prospect here. I like the filly. She looks nice. Got a tremendously good family. How's she going to be received on day number one here in Lexington? I don't know. We're all going to find out tonight. She should bring a lot, but she's smaller. It is day one. Nobody knows what the Bulldogs are going to bring. Nah, she's a little daintier. She might be affordable.
Not supposed to.
Yep, that's fair.
I mean, that's.
We talked about all the things that are going to go on here in Lexington. The one thing I have no idea about is how are the chimpanzees going to be received, especially day one chimpanzees. I'm not sure. This is one of the nicest ones I saw all day today. This is number 85, Jot It Down. This is a Kentucky bred filly by Chimpanzee, April 25th foal. Lots to look at here. The second dam is venerable, which means the second dam is Jolene. Ineffable is the first dam, mark of 53 and $94,000 made, and I believe second foal from, who's she by? Second foal from this Cantab Hall mare. Good looking filly. She's put together well. She moved really, really well in her videos, but truthfully speaking, again, even with this deep pedigree, how is the chimpanzee breed going to be looked at tonight and viewed upon? It's not going to take too long to figure that out. There are a few of them selling tonight, and if this one is a little bit light in price, most definitely a horse we're going to be looking at is number 85, Jot It Down. Number 92 is Oakley Dokes. This is a colt. I couldn't look at it. I looked at the Muscle Hill. I'm like, my goodness, this looks like a Chapter 7. Well, it looks like a Chapter 7 because it's the first foal from a Chapter 7 mare. This is a first foal from a Chapter 7 mare. That is a sister to Ramona Hill. So you don't get the size, but you get the length. He's well put together. I would say he's going to end up being a medium-sized colt, where I didn't really know what to expect. But when I first saw him, I said, geez, he looks small. But not really. It's actually well put together, dual eligible, which most of them are nowadays, especially out of this consignment here at Crawford. Oakley Dokes is a March 15th colt. Well put together, very, very correct up front and behind. He's probably going to be a horse that a lot of people are thinking the same thing. First sight of him, you'll say, geez, he looks a little small, but after looking at him, understanding his family, his mother, I'd say he's actually going to be a pretty decent-sized colt. So number 92, Oakley Dokes, is a horse that we are looking at here. This is actually our first video. This is the first one we're doing. So this is a horse we're going to be looking at here in Lexington, selling in the latter part of day number 1. Number 96, I showed you a number of horses that I just feel are unattainable, right? A lot of horses we can buy, and some horses that we can't. And this one, quite frankly, this is the second foal from the Andover Hall mare, Love Muffin. Now the one last year, whose now name is Bratitude, that was a $550,000 yearling, and this is the three-quarter sister by Muscle Hill. The one last year was a Tactical Landing. So Love Muffin, I think if you go back and look at last year's videos, it was one of my top picks, that horse. Her name was Muffin Queen before they changed it and changed it to Bratitude. This entire family is very, very good, very, very strong. You'll see sneaky crosses off the pedigree in all three, well, two of the three dams in this pedigree. Very, very good looking horse, will bring a lot of money. But nevertheless, again, you have to understand, you hear me say these things and you might be watching at home, or maybe you watch some sales or look at the results, but you don't realize how many horses actually do fall short. And this is not likely one of them. But nevertheless, it's our job to make sure we're there just in case it is. So number 96, Temperamental, is a horse that we're looking at on day number 1 here in Lexington. Dun-dun-dun. Thank you. Perfect Thought, who I think very highly of, but the horse that beat Perfect Thought in the New Jersey Sires at the start of the year, that filly's name was Be Perfect BG. She also is a perfect sting. This is her Always Be Mickey brother. Now, when they ended up with Be Perfect BG, because they had bought the mare and foal, I think, or the weanling or something, in a dispersal, they were just kind of moving the horses out. Maybe thought the pedigree wasn't quite as deep or as strong as they'd hoped, and ended up selling what turned out to be a pretty good looking filly. So this is the brother. This is Deadline, and Always Be Mickey. What month do we got here? April 20th, Always Be Mickey, brother to Be Perfect BG. Now the family there's a lot of black type under here. JK Fine and Dandy, 195,000. The mare itself made 374,000. And JK End of an Era, obviously a $2 million winner, America 47 and 4, or 48 and 2. He's in the third dam. So a good pedigree, a good family, and a good looking colt. And what I liked the most was the Always Be Mickeys. How are they going to do in the sale? I have no idea. We have 2 or 3 on our list, and this is definitely one of them. Number 98 on day number 1. His name is Deadline. Number 112 here. We're here on opening day at the sale. We're at Country Lane Standardbreds out of Indiana. A lot of power in this consignment, and this is probably, I would suspect, the crown jewel. This is number 112, Country Plunge, a filly who's New York and Kentucky eligible. This is the second foal from Plunge Blue Chip, world champion. What'd she make? 1.5 million. Took a mark of 49-4. Just an incredibly gifted mare. On a side note, when she was racing, we had 3 Point Blue Chip, who was good at the time as a 2-year-old, and we had really, really high expectations for him. This is the daughter of the sister of 3 Point Blue Chip. So Plunge Blue Chip and 3 Point Blue Chip, I guess the easiest way to put it would be their sister and brother. So Plunge Blue Chip's had one foal, Sanmar Pond. This horse brought, I think over 200 last year at the sale. And I have every reason to believe that this filly will probably bring lots also. Probably the type of horse that won't end up in our barn, but at the same time, definitely a horse that we are going to try and facilitate that transaction best way we can. So Country Plunge, number 112, selling on day one. Later, actually, in day one. Very, very good-looking filly. A New York-bred filly, New York and Kentucky. But very well put-together filly selling out of Country Lane Standardbreds. All right, what do we got? Perfect. Number 114, this is day one, late day one at Lexington, 7 Dons a Dio. This is a New York and New Jersey development fund. So New York. This is a New York colt by Chapter 7 and a Prima Donna Dio. She's a Trixton filly that made $277,000 and took a mark of 152 as a 3-year-old. Good family, good pedigree, great body. Great body on this colt. February 24th colt. It's plenty long, perfect height. Well put together. I like everything about him. Number 114, 7 Dons a Dio, selling here late on day number 1 in Lexington.
10:50 at 8:45. I said, I have the mics. Where are you? He says, I'm in the lobby. I'm walking back in from the parking lot. I saw.
Me and I are at odds. We're butting heads on this one. 115, this is Father Tom. This is the 3/4 brother to Hanger 1. Oh, and by the way, his other brother, Go Dog Go, that won in 49 the other day. Father Tom is a Father Patrick, and Green Shoe is by Father Patrick. Now, Go Dog Go, slightly, very fast horse, really quick, durable animal, but a little schizophrenic, like his brother. Like his brother Hanger 1. I was just saying that as the Pinskys walk by. So when you look at Go Dog Go, I mean, obviously incredible animal that has a lot of upside and potential. Hanger 1, I'd love to think, has the same, a lot of upside and potential. I will say this, I can't speak for Go Dog Go, but this horse is bigger now than Hanger 1 is right now. This is a bigger version of ours for sure. I'm not really sure about the other one, but he's a little quieter. He's not bouncing around. He doesn't look problematic. He's making faces over to the side of me. I like Father Tom, and I think whether it be the Father Patrick or people that know, oh, he is a little toed in, Amy, or people that know Hanger 1 or Go Dog Go, there is going to be less eyeballs on this guy than maybe there should be, and I'm not sure. Well, why wouldn't he be day one? His brother just went at 49. Of course he is. So his digs are, he is a little toed in up front. He does have an OCD out of his left hock. Other than that, I really like number 115, Father Tom. Ready? Yep. Number 117, this is Wuhan, late on day one. This is a Walner colt. Kentucky and New Jersey eligible. This is the second foal from a Trixton mare. Her name was Queen Trix. Queen Trix is the sister to the Ice Queen, who had the Ice Duchess. Made $750,000. No updates on Queen Trix or Crown the Queen, who is the 2-year-old foal. Now, lots of pedigree on this page, all the way down to the third dam, Southwind Serena. There's a lot of nice horses in this pedigree. So I guess what you have to ask yourself, are you too concerned about Crown the Queen, the 2-year-old, not doing very well? Because this is the full brother to Crown the Queen. So I guess that makes a lot of difference also. On March 24th, foal, pretty correct. Moved really nice in its video. A really good looking horse. But you know, how do you find yourself into a horse like this on day one? Well, it's simple. There's like 40 Walners selling on day one, and this is 4 from the end. So there is going to be a ton of Walners sell before Wuhan. And I wouldn't be upset at all if this was our day one horse that we got. Number 117, Wuhan, selling on selling tonight, day one at Lexington. Not a bad looking horse. The 2-year-old's a filly too. This is a colt.
He looks like a colt. He's got that.
Yeah, he's a good looking horse.
Like a Roman nose.
I could see him sliding a bit.
All right, there you go. Look at some of the horses that are selling here tonight. An in-depth look as you brought them out, inspect them, give us your thoughts. And we won't rehash everything that you said in those videos, but I find it very amusing that when those horses pop up on the screen that I can see you point out, oh, I like that one. Oh, I like that one. Yeah. So there's so much to like.
This is what I don't like.
Exactly, but that's what I mean.
Animal.
But there's so many good-looking horses here this evening. Yeah. Let's talk about who could be maybe the best-looking, who could be the belle of the ball.
Oh, did you pull any of the comments up? You didn't, did you?
No. Hold on. I've got time.
Oh, wow.
You go. Okay, Curtis thinks we have no time here. For once, we're actually on a time crunch. And I'll get to that in a second. Go ahead. Who do you think's going to be the sale topper?
112.
And I guess technically it's the session topper because somebody could beat it day 2, day 3. But
that is true.
More than likely.
I'm going with Country Lane Farms, Country Plunge. This is Plunge Blue Chips, second foal. First one brought close to $250,000 last year. This is a very, very good-looking horse. I know everybody's talking about Walner and how they're going to dominate the sale, but never, ever count out Chapter 7, ever. Right. And I believe the Chapter 7 dual-eligible New York and Kentucky filly, she is March 21st. I think she's almost perfect top to bottom, and I believe 112 is going to be the session, as you said, session topper tonight.
Okay, I am going with a Walner filly, hip number 94, the first foal from When Doves Cry, that daughter of Muscle Hill. She was a Dan Patch Award winner, made a couple million, had a lot of prominent victories over the course of her career, and why I was always intrigued watching her was I remember her mother, Cedar Dove Racing. I think it was Noel Daly. Ron Pierce drove her. And she was outstanding on the racetrack a little over a decade ago. When Doves Cry brought 205 when she sold as a yearling right here at Lexington. This is going to be,
you've been doing your homework.
Yeah, this is going to be her first foal, and it's a Walner, and it's a filly. I think no matter what, a trotting filly will be the sale topper. I just think this is the market, and that's where it's at. So that'll be my pick. $925,000 was last year's top price. Did we get to $1 million this year?
No. Well, I shouldn't say. I mean, they've been to $1 million twice that I've seen these sales. Both, I think, within like an hour of one another, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
And then the mixed sale in Harrisburg last year got to, 1.8 or something.
Yeah, but last year was it Cambridge Hanover, the one of Andrew Harris, brought $1 million at Harrisburg, yeah.
That's right, too. So I don't know, price-wise, what is this horse going to go for? I'm going to say...
I think we're in that ballpark, 900 to $1 million.
Yeah, I was going to say 830.
Okay, yeah, if it's 830, you know something.
No one's complaining. Yeah. I really like this filly in it. There's a lot of really quality horse in there. Honestly, I'm not looking for a country plunge.
Yep.
I'm looking for Anthony's Plunge. I'm looking for a horse that we can maybe sneak out of Lexington for a little less than what I believe. And I believe I'm gonna. What do you think the over under on the stable is tonight?
For how many you get, or how
2.
much you spend?
Oh, that's a good question. 2 horses, over under.
I've seen this happen before. I'll say over.
I was going to say 3. I'm going to say over. I say we buy 3 horses tonight, 1 pacer, 2 trotters.
Okay. All right. Well, that'd be a good night, I think.
It will be.
All right. Well, we got to wrap things up. The reason being, Cujo Entertainment, as always, has got a lot of hands in a lot of cookie jars, and one of them here is with the Lexington Select Sale itself. We're going to be doing a live show throughout the night, Primetime Racing, in our first year under this Primetime Racing brand. We've picked up a big addition with coverage of night 1 and day 2 of the Lexington Selected Yearling Sale. We're going to have instant reaction. We will have the live stream of the sale going as well. We'll have lots of stats, facts, everything popping up, and lots of interviews. We got Heather Vitale, Jamie McDonald here. They're going to be roaming the grounds. Michael Carter will join me. I'm not sure if we're allowed to have you on the desk for that show, but you're going to be a little busy. We will talk tomorrow when we're back earlier.
Absolutely.
It'll be an early start.
Thanks for coming down again. I know you guys come down for the show at Lexington, and I've said this since the first year we did the show, and it went over so well. And Curtis and Cam and Matt and everybody did a great job with the show on year 1. It was, I really believe, really honestly, every consignment should have their own show so that they can showcase their product. And definitely the Lexington Select should have, and I'm proud. I'm really happy that they did do that this year, because a lot of people out there are watching and want to see what the sale's all about.
Absolutely.
We do our best to show them, but seeing it for yourself is something else. If you're in the area, definitely drop by. If you're not, watch Curtis and Mark and everybody's broadcast. It'll be a great night here in Lexington.
It will. It's almost like draft night, essentially.
Feels that way.
NFL draft, NHL draft, whatever it might be. You can watch our coverage with Primetime Racing on the Harness Racing Update Facebook channel, YouTube channel as well. We'll have it on Primetime Racing's accounts. So there you have it. Anthony, best luck tonight.
Thanks very much.
All right, we'll talk to everybody tomorrow morning on this page, TheStable.ca, and keep your eye out for our continued coverage as the night rolls along.